That real hip hop.
Y'all know how we do.
You're listening to Philly Zone, Matthias, aka Mr. 16 Bars. That real hip hop.
Try to tell people that Philly is a special breed.
They hate to see us on top, they hate to see us on. They hate to see us come up, they hate we on. They hate the moves that we make because it's made to break them. We give them knowledge on tracks and hope our words can save them. I guess it's hard to get props when you know you lesser. So we right on your heels, I hope you feel the pressure. Rappers taking a roll, my shoes that never fit them. Before you come at it.
Welcome to this episode of Philly on the Rise. As you know, I'm your host, Michael W. Pleasant. This week, we are joined by an amazing lady. She has spent over 20 years of her career in the city government of Philadelphia. She has been doing some outstanding things in the community as well. Blondell Reynolds Brown, welcome to Philly on the Rise. How are you?
Thank you, Malcolm Pleasant. This is a first for me, Philly on the Rise. Thank you.
Yeah, we are glad to have you. As mentioned, you have served in city government for 20 years and so many accomplishments you have had, so many different accomplishments. What's one of your biggest?
My biggest, and probably those that are my favorite, are those that impacted children and youth. So the biggest might be menu labeling, which was my inspiration was that children were, a major report was produced showing that obesity was on the rise for children, and for African-American children, it was a crisis. And what I learned in my research is that when consumers have the information, they make different nutritional choices for their children. So after 2 years, we got 12 votes. And today, when you go into Starbucks or Wawa or any of the big chains, you will find nutritional information about your calories, salts, and sugars.
That is a major accomplishment. As mentioned, 20 years plus in city government, and you retired in 2012, but you still remained active in the community. What have you been doing with your time all these years?
Okay, let me correct the record a little. I actually retired officially from Philadelphia City Council January 31st, 2020, believe it or not, right before COVID. And more recently, I've been fortunate enough to join the firm of Frank DeCicco Associates, which is a government relations, community affairs, public affairs, a consulting firm, where I'm able to take everything I learned in council, use all those tools and apply all those skill sets and lean on relationships that now help me in this new space with Frank DeCicco Associates.
Understood. One of the things you've also been very busy with is this book, this memoir of yours, if you will. Very exciting book, very good read it is, and there's quite a few chapters that folks can learn from as they read it, the book. Tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write this.
I thank you so much, and I'm very encouraged by the fact that you enjoyed some of the chapters. So the inspiration was that I did indeed walk the tightrope for 20 years in the Philadelphia City Council, which at times was uncertain and unsteady. And oftentimes I had to find my balance between ambition and wanted to do an excellent job as a career woman, but also that of wanting to take care of my daughter and be a helicopter mom and an attentive wife. And that tightrope walk at times did become unsteady. So my book is really a recounting of the complicated life of an elected official, a politician, a mother, and a wife.
One of the chapters speaks to the Moxie woman. What are some characteristics of a Moxie woman?
My mother was a Moxie woman, and in her days, they called Moxie gumption. You have to have the gumption to go after what you want. But women who show and have Moxie have grit. They work hard. They work smart. They show up. They're not intimidated by or fearful of the unknown. They show courage when it's required and grace when it's required as well.
Do you think some of those characteristics can be developed, or that Moxie woman is born, if you will?
That's a great question that philosophers talk about all the time. And I really think it's not an or, it's an and. Some of us actually show up with leadership skills. I mean, there's science that says firstborns typically have leadership qualities. And if you're not a firstborn, then you can certainly learn those leadership qualities by participating in different type of experiences, by learning it as an academic subject in school. So it can be both of those options.
And what about the grit? Because the grit is kind of something that's innate, if you will, or can we develop grit?
So that's a terrific question. And grit is innate. Whether or not we exercise our grit becomes the question. And I believe sometimes experiences, particularly those experiences that challenge who you are and what you're made of, help to develop grit.
There is a chapter which speaks to excellence. So tell us a little bit about that chapter and give us some highlights of it.
I'd be happy to. I read 2 books during my career. One was In Search of Excellence, and the other was A Passion for Excellence. And what I know as an African-American woman walking on a tightrope is that every single day I have to show up being excellent with no excuses. My mother raised me with this expression, good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better best. And for anyone who achieves any modicum of any level of success, being average didn't get them there. Being mediocre doesn't get them there. You have to be consistent. You have to illustrate, demonstrate, show excellence consistently.
Life lessons are so important. And as we have different experiences, we hope to learn from those life experiences to apply them and get better in the next circumstance. So tell us about that chapter in your book in which you do speak to learning from the past.
Yes. That chapter was absolutely essential because I did experience a major career firestorm that collided with my very personal life. And I had to learn or rework, retool a number of qualities to help me endure that very, very dark season. And if you're a mother or a teacher, then you want to be able to share those lessons with others, because here's the real deal. No one gets a pass at challenges. No one gets a pass at having hurdles. No one gets a pass at firestorms. And how we cope with them, deal with them, that matters. And so in that chapter, which ended up being longer than I wanted, I was able to share lessons that I learned, and 35 lessons total that ultimately say, don't allow others to write your script. You define your own life in spite of the hurdles that you have to endure. And I'm very specific about very, very tangible steps and strategies and tools you have to execute when you walk through those firestorms.
And give us a couple of those, because hurdles come, firestorms come. So just give us maybe 1 or 2 different steps that we can take as we're going through those firestorms.
One of them is to surround yourself with people who are going to be unapologetic, honest, and truthful with how you need to proceed in getting things done. I was fortunate in that a number of angels showed up with me. One advice that this leading executive gave me in the city of Philadelphia, she said, Blondell, you're active on a number of boards. Right now, all of your time and attention needs to be focused on navigating the next, it ended up being the next year. So I had to submit my resignation, or I chose to tender my resignation from a number of nonprofit boards so I could do just that. Focus on getting the strategies in place to take care of that firestorm. That was number 1. Number 2, I had to build a new team. I had to build a new team of credentialed folks with credentials, and not folks who said they had credentials. And I don't want to tell too much of the story, because I believed in some folks who didn't have credentials, and it got me into a lot of boiling hot water. The other lesson for me is I journaled that time more than I have at any other period in my life. And journaling is very cathartic. Journaling is very instructive, and it gets you, it allows you to release what's in your spirit and release what's on your head and devote it to paper so that you can read it later and look back to see how far you've come.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. You have lived an amazing life, which you have touched so many different folks. This is important to you, leaving that legacy, passing that baton. Why?
Well, my 20 years was about the beauty, the joy, and sometimes the messy aspects behind ambition and care, and how to navigate that. My story is part strategy for sure, that I want to share with my daughter and younger women like Councilwoman Catherine Gilmore Richardson, because it speaks to the pressure that comes in walking a tightrope, the resilience required, the faith, but also the truth we have to speak all the time when we want to bring others along. My story is a reflection of a resilience and a balance, and an example that you really can endure, that at the end of the tunnel, that you'll begin to see that little piece of light, that then as you get closer and closer towards the resolution of the debacle, the light gets brighter. And so quitting, I can't remember what general said this, but there are two options in life when you're faced with hurdles. One is don't quit. Rule one is don't quit. And rule two is to remember rule one, don't quit.
Love it, love it, love it. Again, so many wonderful things you've done throughout the years. When there is some time to have your time, your me time, I understand there's a little bit of dancing involved. There's a little bit of boots on the ground, if you will.
Yes. Dancing still brings me so much joy. It's indescribable. I am cool listening to my old school dancing alone in my bedroom or my living room or with others. I'm cool with, however, I go to parties and dance by myself if no one asks. And so it brings me great joy. I dance like no one is watching, and music and dance just takes me to a place that's very, very serene and peaceful.
Well, congratulations on an amazing career in Philadelphia city government, all that you've done for the city of Philadelphia, and now this book that we are looking forward to, Walking a Tightrope Backwards in High Heels. It's coming soon, and we're definitely going to be on the lookout for it. We are here to support you and help push you further along your path. Thanks once again for joining us in this episode of Philly on the Rise.
Thank you for your willingness, Michael Pleasant. Thank you for the opportunity.